Let's make sure that worked. Yes, it did. Good morning. My name is Erin, and I own Eat Yoga Drink, and I'm delighted to share this yoga experience with you this morning from the warmth and comfort of my basement. And you can't see them, but Yoga Sherpa's over here practicing next to us. So if you hear any grunts, giggles that aren't my voice, just know that it's not in your imagination. It's coming from Yoga Sherpa over here. So yesterday was a really interesting day. I just felt like I kept coming in contact with people who were really grumpy and disgruntled. And I know that everyone's living with a heightened state of anxiety right now. And it was just sort of a reminder. And I spent most of the day with my daughter out in nature. This is where we were coming in contact with these various situations. And I just wanted to remind everyone, as trite as it may sound, to be kind to people. Feeling not so good, not so comfortable in your own skin, one of the best ways that you can offer healing to yourself is bringing a smile and inviting a little softness of your heart and kindness to others, because that comes back to just make you feel a little bit more at ease. And, the whole adage that hurt people, and empower people, empower people. And so just this class today is all about empowerment and really connecting to your way of being and using your own power and to stay right here in a space of gratitude for your body and for your breath. And maybe that'll help radiate out into the world today to show some unexpected, spontaneous kindness to people as you come in contact with them today. All right. I will also say that since I was spending the day yesterday with my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter is very, very active, and she had me involved streams. We were doing a stream hike and we were hopping from rock to rock, and I may or may not have injured my right hamstring. Juliana, I'm going to have to check in with you later about what I can do about that. But just know that if you see me being a little bit more ginger and gentle in my practice today, it's just because I'm respecting my body and my limitations and making sure that I'm not causing any kind of injury. So, all right. So let's make sure the camera's set up just right. Hopefully you guys can see. Can you guys see my head? Someone let me know if you can see my head or not. Lee, yes, no?
Can't see your head, no.
Cannot see my head. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Let's back it on up. Can you see my head? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You're good.
All right. Come on down. Let's start a child's pose. I love child's pose for so many reasons, for the grounding. Oh, and I also wanted to say thank you. A shout out to my friend Elena, who gave me this awesome tank top this weekend. After this, we're getting tacos. I'm kind of a tacoholic, so she knows me well. So this position of grounding is a space in which you just feel so many points of contact to the earth. And it's also just a sort of a symbolic bowing down and gratitude to that sense of safety and rooting. Start to soften the body a little bit more. Notice what you're holding today. Notice what you've been replaying in your own mind. Notice the story that your body is trying to tell you about how yesterday or the day before went. And then start to notice the way the breath travels in and out of the body. Is it jagged in any way? Is it getting stuck in any energetic space? And one of the ways that we're empowered as human beings is we can take control of our breath and control the pace in order to either activate or calm our nervous system. So we're going to start bringing a little bit more heat into the body with an Ujjayi breath. So begin to inhale, feeling fullness into the belly. Feel it reach all the way up into the chest. And exhale out through the nose. Just a few rounds of Samavriti, just noticing, evening out the breath in and out through the nose. And then start to constrict the whisper muscles of the throat, inviting just that slight constriction so that the breath feels just a little bit more empowered as it presses up and presses down. And you start to hear sort of the waves of the ocean present in your own body. And if you would like, bend at the elbows, press the palms together. The hands can reach behind the head or just rest behind the head. As you invite your intention for today's practice, that anchoring thought that helps you stay connected to your way of being, that helps bring you inspiration for your practice, that helps to create a lens through which you see yourself and the world around you today. Hopefully it's a lens of kindness, compassion, gratitude. But welcome in whatever it is you need right now. Take a big breath in. Let a big breath go. Relax the hands back down to the mat and walk them over beyond the right edge of the mat, placing your right hand on top of the left, and just imagine trying to slide your left hand from underneath the right palm and really feel that opening into the left side body. Maybe actively shift the hips a little bit over to the left. And then walk your hands well over beyond the left edge of the mat. Right palm under the left palm. Same thing, just root down into that right hip, opening up the right side body. Nice. And then walk your hands back over to center and begin to rise up into your table position, offering some softness under the knees if the knees are feeling a little tender to the firm surface beneath you. Taking stock of the alignment, just kind of checking everything out, feeling the way the joints are stacking this morning. And then bring a conscious extension in the spine with the crown of the head reaching forward and the tailbone pressing back while you're engaging into the lower abs, so lifting them up to support your lumbar spine. And then when you're ready, articulating the spine into your cow and cat, inhaling and exhale, press the earth away, find some roundness in the back. Inhale and exhale. Take a few more, really diving deep into that spinal opening. Beautiful. Then arrive back in your nice firm table position. We're going to thread the needle here. So left arm stays just where it is, left hand rooted to the earth, and the right arm starts to sweep up. And before we start to flow, just right here, notice if you can offer a little bit more opening into the thoracic spine. So if the hips shifted over to the right a little bit, bring them back into center. And you should feel a nice deep stretch right in the middle of the back. Gaze up at the right thumb. Take one more big breath. And then start to thread the right arm under the left, coming down onto the right shoulder. And again, try to stabilize the hips so they're not shifting from side to side, and give a little bit more press into that left palm so you feel that twist invited back into the upper back. And breathe into it. Still find the beginning and end of each breath, cultivating ujjayi energy. One more breath. Beautiful. Start to peel that right arm up. We're going to open all the way up into a supported side plank. And then lift that right leg if you want, noticing how it feels to balance. Bend into the right knee, take a hook onto the ankle, and really start to press the foot into the hand, feeling a little bit more open now into the spine and into that right hip flexor. Contracting into the thighs to support your knee. One more big breath. Beautiful. And then release the right hand down to the earth. With that right leg extended, make really big circles into your hip. Moving in one or both directions. And then extend the right leg out to the right and look at the right toes. And then swing the leg behind you, looking at the toes over the left shoulder. So swing it out to the right and then swing it behind you. Just sort of like gently wagging a tail, offering a little bit more movement laterally into the spine. One more big breath. Find your full range here. And then bring that knee back, come back into your table position. All right. Float through a few more cow and cats. Really exaggerating the movement, particularly in the neck and the shoulders and the pelvis. And then arrive back in your table position. Keep the right palm rooted down. Start to swing that left arm up to the sky. And right here, make that adjustment. Just slide the hips very gently over to the right, just so they're stacking over the knees once again. You'll really feel it right here across the lower back. One more big breath. And then gently as you exhale, weaving the left arm underneath, coming down to your left shoulder and the left temple. Get those hips right over the knees once again and press into that right palm to exaggerate the twist. Keep paying attention to your lower abs, keeping them contracted and lifted toward the spine. One more breath. Beautiful. Start to unwind, reaching that left arm up and peeling the whole body open. Beautiful, just stacking of wrist over elbow, over shoulder, over elbow, over wrist. Feel the collarbones widen and then lift that left leg. This may be enough for you this morning in a balance, or bend the knee, take a hook onto the ankle and really open up a little bit wider. Let your gaze float wherever it's comfortable for your neck. Just opening up the heart, spreading goodness out in the world, connecting with our own personal empowerment so we can then empower others. One more big breath. And then release the bind. Left hand floats down to the earth with that left leg back. Big circles. Snap, crackle, pop is happening over here. I don't know what's going on there. And I'm not talking about Rice Krispies. All right, extend that left leg back behind you and open it up to the left. And really, you get to determine the angle here. Just find your full range of motion. As you exhale, sweep that left leg behind you. Look over the right shoulder at the toes. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, behind you. You'll do that twice more. Take your time, just like a little pendulum swinging. And last one. Yes. Nice. All right. Bring those knees back to center. From here, flex your feet, drive the toes down into the earth, and let the knees hover. All right, so you look like you're still in table, but the knees have lifted. Press the earth away from you. Really empower those arms. Empower the shoulders, hollow out the armpits just a little bit so your chest isn't sinking. Fire up through those quads. Take one more breath. And then straighten the legs. Press into your downward facing dog. So if you're feeling like me this morning and your hamstrings are a little tender, feel free to bend the knees. Always feel free to modify in the joints however you need to take care of your body. We're not here to win any races or earn any medals. We're here to show up for ourselves, and every day is going to feel a little bit different in your body. Take a big breath. Let a breath go. We're going to just do some little bear walks to wake up the heat in our body. So from here, start to walk your hands back to your feet, coming into a forward fold. I'm going to keep my knees pretty well bent today because of that right hamstring. As you inhale, rise all the way to standing. Reach the arms nice and tall. And as you exhale, float back to full toward the earth. Inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back. And exhale, walk your hands out to your downward facing dog. From here, walk the feet to the hands, very gently. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, melt back down. Halfway lift, flat back. And hands to the earth, step back or walk back to downward facing dog. Walk the hands back to the feet. Rise up, so feel the rooting. Exhale, bow. Halfway lift, flat back. Hands to the earth, walk out to your downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet to your hands. Rise up. Exhale, melt. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, step back or walk back to downward facing dog. All right, now we're going to start adding our planks in there. So from your downward facing dog, shift forward, stacking shoulders over the wrists. Just notice if you need to change the positioning of the feet relative to your hands a little bit to accommodate the body. All right, just maybe shift a little bit forwards and backwards on the toes, getting the toes warmed up. And keep feeling that joint stacking, but not locking. You want to be soft, and you want to keep hollowing out the armpits. So from your plank, walk your hands back to your feet. Rise up. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth. Walk out to your high plank. From high plank, walk the feet to the hands. Rise up. You guys are awesome. Exhale, melt down. Halfway lift. Hands to the earth. Walk your feet or step them back. High plank. We'll do one more plank bear walk. Walk your hands back. Take your time. Rise up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, flat back. Walk your hands back out to plank. Always checking alignment. Don't take anything for granted or make any assumptions. Walk your feet to your hands. Rise. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, flat back. Hands to the earth. Step back to high plank. Nice. From high plank, we're going to lower down to the earth. And then inhale, find our baby cobra. Just really soft cobra. So the elbows stay bent and they draw right into the rib cage, where we can start to notice how we can melt the shoulders down from the earlobes and press the chest forward. So feel the belly and the pubis rooting down into the earth. Your legs are anchoring you as well. Just check your gaze. Rather than looking straight out, just look softly downward. Take another breath. And exhale, lower. This time, inhale to cobra. Maybe start to straighten the arms just a little bit more. I'd say come to like your halfway point. Notice where the effort has shifted. There's a little bit more happening in the triceps here. Keep drawing your heart forward. Breathe in. And exhale, lower. This time, if you'd like, if you're ready, if you're feeling up to it, start to press all the way up into your full cobra. Again, arms are straighter, but you're not locking into the joints. That's never very safe for your elbow joints here, or your shoulder joints for that matter. So soft in the elbows as the heart draws forward. Take another breath. And then from here, lift using that strong core back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Let that breath go. Beautiful. Keep inviting the hip bones to rise. The tailbone wants to point straight up to the sky. So it's a little forward tilt of the pelvis. And your chest wants to melt back toward your thighs. And remember that personal empowerment is not building power, building musculature. It's knowing when the time is right to amplify your practice and when the time is right to modify your practice. And I'm really feeling modifications in my practice today. As I listen to my body, your body has such innate wisdom. And when you get quiet, quieting the noise and the fluctuations of the mind and just tune into what the body is saying, you really take care of yourself. That is empowerment, having the discernment between the two. So big breath in, big breath out. Beautiful. On the inhale, right leg high to the sky. Not happening in my world today. Lift that right heel up, three-legged dog. And then step the right foot between the hands. Melt the left heel down. Maybe even scooch that left foot over a little bit. We're going to come into a warrior one shape. Okay. Warrior one. So your legs are in 2 lanes of traffic. Your hands are going to help rotate those hips so they're facing squared with the front of the mat. Take as much or as little of a bend in that knee as you have to offer today. And when you're ready, reach those arms up to the sky. And exhale, goalposts sink a little deeper. Squeeze those back muscles. Inhale, you can straighten the leg if you want or keep it bent, arms up. Exhale, sink. 2 more, big breath in. Try to keep the spine neutral. I just noticed that I was trying to press my chest out here. Try to retract just a little bit, keeping everything in line. 1 more, big breath in. And sink right here. From here, we're going to bow down. Bring the hands to weave together behind the back, humble warrior. So notice if the hips rotate at all here. Keep drawing that left hip forward. Let the crown of the head melt toward the earth and maybe softly wave and wiggle the head a little bit. Breathe. Think about something that you're grateful for right here. 1 more breath. Beautiful. Release the bind. Rise up. Back up to warrior one. And then those hands are going to come down to the earth. Step back into your high plank. Take your vinyasa flow. Moving with your own breath. Returning to downward facing dog. Nice. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in your intention. Share it with the world. Inhale, left heel high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, step the left foot up behind the left wrist and melt the right heel down, coming into that warrior one footing. Same awareness of where you're beginning and where you're going. Awareness of all of the positioning of the hips, stacking of the joints. Awareness of sending the weight even in both feet. And when you're ready, lift those arms up. And exhale, draw down. Inhale, lift up. Imagine you're pulling these ropes down from the sky. So really get those arms powered up. 2 more. Did I lose count? 1 more. There you go. From here, start to bow down, taking an alternate bind behind the back. Keep drawing the right hip crease forward as you melt into this humble warrior. Try not to hold your head up. Give your neck a break for a moment. Keep the breath really enriching through the body. Listen to that Ujjayi breath. If you can't hear it anymore, invite it back. And then release the bind. Rise back up. Warrior 1. Hands to the earth. Take your flow. Maybe you start to come halfway. So if you want to start working on your upward facing dog, from high plank, you lower just like this so that your triceps are parallel with the earth. And then you flip to the feet with the hips still lifted. Draw the heart through, coming into your upward facing. Then use the strong core to support your back, lifting those hips up to downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in again and let the breath go. Beautiful. On the inhale, look to the front of the mat. Step or hop, feet to hands. With the toe mounds kissing or slightly apart, we're going to sweep up chair pose. So for those of you who were with us at the winery the other night with my friend Brad playing drums, maybe you got here and you all of a sudden started doing this, because that's what we do when we're listening to live music, the go-go beat for Utkatasana. Maybe you just become a little bit buoyant in the joints to remember not to lock anything. Just keep it soft and invite the breath. Soften the shoulders, soften the face. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Beautiful. Rise all the way up. Slide your hands to your heart. Bring the thumbs to the sternum and feel that beating heart. You have your own percussive rhythm right inside your body. Take a breath. Beautiful. On the inhale, arms rise up. As you exhale, float back to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hand. Step the left foot back into a lunge shape. And then melt that left heel down. Find your warrior 2 footing and peel yourself up. Just cartwheel up from the earth for warrior 2. Feeling the hips spinning open. Inviting that right knee to press out toward the pinky edge of the right foot. Arms are nice and wide. And maybe just move a little bit here. Just finding some opening in the side body. Just playing around with the lateral lines here. And then reach, reach, reach. Flip the right palm and come up and over to reverse your warrior. Sink a little bit deeper into your thigh. And then bring that right arm behind you, bending the elbow. So the fingertips are coming toward the shoulder bones. And then the left arm is going to come from underneath. See if you can find a little bind here. And it's okay if you can't. If you can't, just go for a bind on your shirt or use a towel or a strap to help you connect. Take another big breath. Really big opening into the right side. Beautiful. From here, we're going to release the bind, find our way into a extended side angle. And with that left arm, if it's still wrapping around, maybe you look for the hand to come into the hip crease of the right side. You can also go for a full bind if you have it. But notice if that right knee is collapsing inward at all, keep spinning it out. Gaze up. One more breath. And then release the bind, rise back up to warrior two. Then straighten the front leg and turn the right toes to the front just a little bit. Heel toe in just about an inch. So the heels are in, toes are out. Big breath in. We're going to come down into goddess, drawing that energy down in those goalpost arms once again. For you football fans, your happy football's back on. So this is homage to you. I'm not a football fan, but I see you. Take a big breath in. Exhale down. Empowering that breath. And the breath empowers the musculature. Two more. Last one. Breath in. Come right here. From here, bring your hands to your thighs. Keeping the thighs spinning open, dip your right, I'll mirror you. Dip your right shoulder down towards your left knee. And then come back up, a nice tall spine. Dip your left shoulder down toward the right knee. Come back up. This is a really good stretch for behind the shoulders. And one more. Nice. We're going to come on back up, straighten those legs, turn the right toes forward. We're going to bring those hands to cartwheel to the foot, coming back into your low lunge. And we're going to open up into a side plank, Vashisthasana. So you can take that fun bind if you want to hold on to your right toes and take it with you when you go, right? You can lift the leg. You can bring a tree leg. You can stack the ankles. You can flip, turning it into a little wild thing. But remember, stacking right or left shoulder over elbow over wrist. Two more breaths. Press the earth away, hollow out through that armpit. Beautiful. Gently spinning to your high plank, lowering down to the earth, lifting back up in your expression of open-heartedness. Back to downward facing dog. Breathe. And let it go. Look to the front of the mat. Step or hop, feet to hands. Rise up, Utkatasana. Utkatasana is a wonderful, empowering shape in the body. Particularly if you get your little beat on. It'll make you smile, I promise. And that smile is so contagious. So breathe. Keep sinking the hips low, drawing the hip creases back and down. Nice long spine. One more breath. Root into those heels as you rise up. Hands to the heart. Noticing if you were able to maintain that deep, fulfilling breath. If not, find it once again. The body really craves it. One more breath. All right, arms rise up. Exhale, float down to fold. Halfway lift. Hands to the earth. Right foot steps back this time into that high lunge shape, or low lunge shape rather. And then spin the right heel down, finding your warrior two. Notice where you're connected to the earth so you can rise and feel confident in your stability. Here you are. All right. Once again, just playing around with opening up the side body. Listen for that Ujjayi breath. Do you hear it? And then reach forward, flip the left palm up and reach it behind you. Yes. Keep opening up the left hip. And then bend that top arm so the fingers come between the shoulder blades and reach the right arm up from underneath. This is the side I cannot bind on, but I'm just going to hold on to my shirt knowing that that's good enough. Breathe into this opening. One more breath. Release that left arm. Bring it to the left thigh for your extended side angle. And if that right arm's still behind you, maybe you tuck the fingers into the into the hip crease for your half bind. And use that as a reminder to draw the rib cage open. You're spinning open here through the body so that your right hip is stacked over your left. And your right shoulder is stacked over your left shoulder. Yes. Maybe draw the back, tip it back just slightly in case you feel yourself leaning forward. Be really conscious. Beautiful. One more breath. And then from here, release the bind. Rise up to warrior two. We're going to straighten the legs, turning the heels in, toes out. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, take a swan dive down to the earth. Forward fold with wide legs. Maybe halfway lift to a flat back. And exhale, go a little deeper. You can keep flowing like that if that feels good to you, or you can just come into a static fold. Maybe from here you take a bind on the toes or the ankles, drawing yourself deeper into this fold. This really turns on the parasympathetic nervous system. It starts to decompress into the spine and also decompress the stress reactivity in the body. It's like a chill pill. But it requires breath and presence. 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Release any binds. We're going to rise back up. Whoop. Come back to warrior two. So left toes facing forward. And then cartwheel the hands to frame the left foot. Plant down through the right palm, finding stability as you transition into your Vashisthasana. So maybe again, take the toes with you if you want. You can always modify, which I'm going to do on this side, dropping the right knee down, but still looking for that opening, looking for the effort and the ease here. Really honoring your body. One more big breath. And float back down to your high plank. Go through a flow. And make your way to child's pose once again. Noticing which way the body is arranging itself here for child's pose. Knees are wide. If the hips are begging for some attention, knees are narrow if the lower back wants a little love. Maybe they're somewhere in between. Take a big breath. Beautiful. From here, we're going to start to climb back up, growing into that downward facing dog once again. Big breath. And let the breath go. On the inhale, lift that right leg high or keep it low. Lift the toes off the ground. And we're going to cross the right leg behind the left leg. So try to keep the weight even in the palm. So you just cross the right over the left. And we're going to take a really awkward here wild thing. Or, well, you call it what you will once we do it. So shift the weight into the left palm and see if you can lift the right arm up. Another little Vashisthasana variation here. And just notice any sensation difference in the legs. Another option is if you bring the right palm down, you can slide the left leg to the right a little bit, kind of scissoring the legs a little bit more, and then lift up. And you're going to get a really big IT band stretch there if you want to try that. Really working into that left side oblique here. So breathe. And then bring the right hand back down. We're going to slide the left foot back where it belongs. Lift the right leg high to the sky, and then start to draw the right knee behind the right wrist for a resting half pigeon. Feeling that right hip, particularly like a labral tear or something, this may not be the best for you. Maybe you take a more gentler form by offering pinwheel pigeon or a figure four, crossing your thigh or leg over your thigh on your back. You could also do a seated figure four. Seated figure four looks like this. So be gentle, be supportive, sliding something underneath that right hip if it needs some connection to the earth. Just once you've noticed the hips are squared, that left leg is parallel to the long edge of the mat, you're welcome to surrender, melting your chest down. And if you need a little support, you can create a pillow by stacking your fists or stacking your palms. Relax your jaw, relax your neck. As you bring yourself into stillness, notice if the mind starts to become flooded again. Remember that you have the power to steer your thoughts. You have the power to unhook from anything that's damaging, destructive, uncomfortable. Just see it and say goodbye to it and make a choice to welcome in thoughts of gratitude or thoughts of presence. Just allow yourself to be here feeling the breath and the sensations of the body. Reminding yourself of this moment that's real here and now. Two more deep, deep breaths into the belly of the muscles and the joints supporting your hip. And then we're going to walk back up to those palms, removing any props out of the way. Maybe make your way back to that three-legged table, circling or kicking through that right side hip. And then we'll come back into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we're going to cross the left leg behind the right leg. And again, if you want a little bit more sensation on your right side IT band, come to the outer edge of that right foot. I'm not going to do that today, but you can extend your right leg out to the left and then start to spin onto the edges of the feet, lifting the left arm. Breathe into that right side oblique. Doing a lot of work here. Keep pressing the earth away. You guys look awesome. One more breath. Beautiful. Bring your hand down. Start to draw the feet back to where they belong, and then draw the left knee behind the left wrist. Preparing for your half pigeon or pinwheel pigeon on this side, or coming to a figure four option, whatever is best for your body. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, surrender. I'm showing modified pinwheel pigeon on this side. My chest is melted over the fleshy fold of the thigh. And maybe each breath, as you release something, you can melt a little deeper. Two more big breaths. Coming in contact with the beginning and end of each breath. Begin to lift up. This time, just swing that right leg around, coming to your sit bones on the mat with your feet flat. Let the knees tick-tock from side to side. We're going to do another little hip stretch while we're here. So we're going to take a fire log shape. So stack, it doesn't matter which side you do first, whatever feels intuitive. Take hold of one of your shins, just kind of cradling it like a baby, maybe tapping into the hip here. And then carefully stack shin over shin, knowing that if there's a lot of space here, a blanket or a block comes in handy to offer a little buffer, just like that, to make it a little bit more accessible. So use what you need here. And if that doesn't work for you, you always have the option to come into a cobbler's pose, Baddha Konasana. All right. So we're going to take a big breath in, lifting tall through the spinal column, roll the shoulders back. And as you exhale, hinge right at the hip joints to lean into this. Maybe the hands walk forward. Maybe you come down onto forearms or onto a block. And bring your chin toward your chest if that's comfortable. Still try not to close off the airway. Still feel that Ujjayi breath, but just giving a little stretch to the cervical spine. Sending that compassionate love into the tight spaces of the hips that are coming to your awareness right now. And then we're going to rise up, bring those hands behind you, draw the shoulder blades together, and see if you can puff up through the heart and maybe lift your sit bones from the earth. It's a little trickier to do that, but if you can do it, do it. If not, feel so empowered just by expanding across the front body and feeling your heart ablaze here. Maybe bringing someone to mind who needs a little extra love and happiness today. And then bring your hips down. Uncross the legs. Let the knees knock from side to side once again. We'll take that on the other side. So tuck the other leg underneath. Cradle this one like a baby, or just look for where you can offer a little mobility into that hip joint. Maybe a little tapping. If anyone wants to do a full compass pose, don't let me stop you. All right, and we're going to stack the legs, stack the shins. So double pigeon or fire log shape. Sit up nice and tall, root down through the sit bones. That spinal column is lifted. And then start to hinge. Rather than collapsing and folding, which constricts our airway, we just want to hinge. Go right to your edge. Breathe into it, and maybe your edge changes and softens a little bit. Take another breath. And then on the next inhale, rise up. Hands behind you. Maybe this time you turn the wrists the other way, just for a different stretch. Draw the shoulder blades together. Really puff up through the heart. And then if you want, peel the sit bones from the earth, getting a little deeper into those hip flexors. It's a good psoas strengthener. One more big breath. And come on down. Nice. Open up those legs nice and wide. If you want to go lengthwise on your mat to offer the heels a little support, you're welcome to. Take a big breath and again, roll the hips open. And as you exhale, bring your chest down toward the earth. You can also put a big bolster here to catch your chest or use a block for your forehead. If you want to take a full Karmasana, your turtle pose, bring your arms underneath the folds of your knee and try to welcome your chest down toward the earth. Very, very deep stretch here. So find what you need, rest and stay where you want to be. You have 2 more big breaths. Beautiful. All right, for your Karmasana lovers or haters, try not to hate, but it's an uncomfortable pose. It's kind of fun to play around with it. Take the arms out. We're going to slide those legs together and make our way down onto our mats. Feet are nice and wide, and let the knees tick-tock from side to side once again. We'll end with a spinal twist, but if there's something else that you'd like to play around with, feel free. So arms out nice and wide. Stack the knees as the knees drift to the right side, with the option, of course, to extend the top leg and take a bind onto the foot or the toe. Feeling the shoulders pressing down, both of them, to the earth, just lifted through the lower spine and the hip. Take another breath. If you have a bind, release it. Use your strong core, rolling those knees, giving the sacrum a nice massage on the way over to the left side. Keeping the knees stacked or extend that top leg, your choice. Maybe the head floats over toward the right. Still hearing that Ujjayi breath. And then come on back to center, finishing with that hug, wrapping arms around shins, lifting the head slightly, just giving ourselves a nice dose of appreciation for practicing today, for creating space and time to be with yourself, to connect and empower yourself through this practice. Take one more big breath. And then release that hug, unfurling the body into your comfortable resting shape. If you like to support your lower back, you can slide a blanket or a bolster underneath your knees once again. But invite your body into a shape of effortlessness, trusting that the earth is here to hold you and the universe is there to embrace you from all sides. You have arrived into the sacred space of being. And when the time is right, I will awaken you with beautiful words from Morgan Harper Nichols. Come and be free. Go running into the clefts of the canyon where the water pours. Come afraid and come forth just as you are, letting this rushing water remind you of the life rushing through your heart, the life flowing through your body, showing you what it needs is to know that being small in the canyon does not mean you are too small to be. For out here in the wild, you are agile, walking through your own uncertainty. And that, dear friend, takes bravery. Start to feel the power of your breath, igniting the energy within your body once again. Start to awaken the body with movement, bravely facing this world that awaits you. Stretch the body, reaching out into the world, saying, I am ready. And draw your knees into your chest once again, affirming that self-love that you have, that self-empowerment, knowing that you use those tools then to love and empower those around you. Roll onto one side, letting the practice settle in. And then when you're ready, roll up to a comfortable seat, finding your hands pressing together in front of that center of love and compassion. Take a big breath in, reuniting with your intention. And let it all go. Thank you for practicing with us here today. The love and the light in me honors the love and the light that shines brightly in each of you. Namaste. So thank you so much for being here with us. Please check out all of the great Halloween-themed events, yoga events we have coming up in October. They are found on eatyogadrink.com in the schedule. Have some awesome Will Yoga for Booze. There's Sherpa. There he goes. The elusive Sherpa. You want to say hi to your fan? Shout. Eat Yoga Drink is how you can find me. And I will read the chats here, but I sometimes, we need a little bit more goodness and love and spontaneity. Go be the ambassadors of love. Yes.